Hey, yo. Welcome back to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. My name is Ronald Two Legs, despite what the Duke will tell you. And as always, I am joined by AIW owner John Thorne. What is up, Thorne?
Missed you last week.
I know. I had family was in town I rarely get to see, and yeah, it was a whole thing, you know. Sometimes I got some stuff family-wise I can't, you can't get out of when it's stuff like that. It was short notice on, we only had like 4 or 5 days before we decided we were doing it that day, so it was just too late for me to get out of it.
Family getting in the way of the wrestling habit.
I know. My brother doesn't live in town. He's not from around. He doesn't live around here, so I rarely get to see him. So I had this whole thing planned, and it was just going to be too much to opt out. I'd be hearing that for too many Christmases in a row or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing kind of came together quickly anyway because we needed to dot some I's and cross some T's for the shows, but they are finally in the home stretch of getting everything they think they need for that documentary that they've been filming. So they wanted to kind of come film the kind of creative process and just record like a hard sell podcast, and then they followed me around all fucking day Saturday, which was a lot, but yeah, that was it was quite the podcast at my house last.
Yeah, at your house. Yeah, you had everyone over to the crib, huh?
Man, you got to see it in person, how mad he got.
Oh, it was so funny. And he was mad when I was explaining to you when we did the closeout, and he said you shoehorned the last one. He said, see you later from my house. And I fucking lost it at that one. I was telling you how funny I thought that one was, and he was getting so mad. He kept going, you're all little toadies. You're little toadies. And then we laughed about the Christmas Story and how I did think that was the perfect example that he used, though, of the kid from the Christmas Story being a toady. That's a good example, but he was mad. He was mad a lot. He was busy. He was a busy guy at Absolution. He had a lot going on.
He wasn't as busy as he hoped he would be.
Yeah, he's mad at us again now for saying it.
Yeah,
we had quite the show.
What's what happens when the light flickers?
Oh, that's so funny. Quite the show, though. We want to jump on here and kind of start talking about some stuff to recap. The big event that we had this past Saturday, Absolution 17, was quite the show, man. I mean, you always, you bring your A game for Absolution. I've seen a lot of great Absolution cards, but that one, man, I feel like that was just. I tweeted at the end after I said that was an Absolution masterpiece, man. We pulled out. We told everyone. You said many times. You tweeted it. You said that we're really going big for this one. And I mean, especially the lighting thing is something we haven't gotten to yet. The new light system, or whatever, not new, whatever
for Absolution.
Right. That's what I was gonna say for that show at least.
Yeah. Some people are like, man, loving the new light setup. Listen, this is not gonna be a full-time setup. We I kind of been saying for whatever reason, I don't know, like I feel like we're due, and I was presented with this idea, which I didn't know that Gringo Loco is also he's getting into like the live production game, and he is doing he has all these lights for doing event production, and he hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm actually off this weekend, but I'm not hitting you up to wrestle, and kind of presented this case. And listen, it was Gringo Loco gave me the friends and family discount, but it was still very fucking expensive because that is a lot of expensive shit that he has. Not to mention that he had to drive it all the way from Chicago. But for whatever reason, like. The show is expensive, and I just felt that regardless if it was going to make money or not, I wanted to have a very cool presentation. Like that's like a proof of concept moment in a way. Like this is what we can do. I mean, that's really what's going on right now. Is I feel like while we've seen growth, we haven't seen the growth that I think we all feel we're deserving of. So we're kind of at this pushing all the chips in moment, you know, and seeing what's going to happen. And that was just another one of those things where Pedro was just like, dude, we cannot afford it. And I said,
yeah, he was very against it.
yeah, I said, fuck it. I'll pay for it out of I'm going to use my own personal money to do it, you know? Because again, you know, like I kind of mentioned before, no matter what happens at a show, we have to front it all because you have to wait for Ticketmaster processing and things like that. So, you know, in the event of Gauntlet, that was, I'm gonna look and tell you exactly how long we had to wait to get paid. That show was on the 24th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's not like every time someone buys a ticket, it's going into your account or something. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole waiting period of time.
So Absolution was on the 13th. We got paid for Gauntlet on July 5th. So, you know, I mean, it's not like you know, like we have other things and deposits and, you know, a lot of shit going on for the Against the World show. This show, Absolution. We also had the June 22nd show. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
pretty cashed, you know. And CFO Pedro was like, dude, like we have to wrangle it in. And I don't know. I'm just in this mood where I feel like we're due. I don't know why I feel like that. I don't know. Even Josh Bishop was like, why are you like, I know this isn't going the way that you want it to go today. Why are you so positive? I said, I don't know. I just have a feeling. Something is coming for us. And I think it's going to be good. I don't know what it is or what, but I have a feeling. And, you know, Absolution did not turn out the way that I think we all hoped. I think, you know, we all really had set a high bar, and, you know, we didn't hit it. You know, I'm going to be totally honest with that. We didn't hit it. You know, it's actually down from the last two Temple shows, which was very disappointing, I think, to all of us. But, you know, I think that there's, you know, just a bigger picture there. And I think we put, like you said, a super strong card out there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, listen, and it wasn't a fucking, it's not nothing to sneeze at. It was, I think the official number that we got today after, you know, we got all of our reports and everything was 717 people were there on Saturday, which I mean is fucking incredible. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes we're happy to get 250 people. So, I mean, I'm extremely proud of it. I'm extremely happy. I'm just disappointed. It's more so like just having a high standard and high expectation for the show. I think we all wanted to see 1,000 people in there or more, and we fell short of the goal. I mean, obviously it's summertime. There's other things going on. There's, you know, multiple wrestling shows within 2-hour radius again, just like happened to us on 6/22. Yeah. You know, some people decided that they were going to run 10 minutes away from the temple. I don't know. That seemed not smart to me. But, you know, there's also a show, you know, a big show, which we were actually offered to do, and it didn't work out with our schedule in Youngstown. You know, like that baseball team had reached out to us and tried to hire us. But obviously we were already booked on this date. So, you know, that's just the stuff that happens, and, you know, still happy with it. But, you know, we spent a lot of money. We have a lot of money in play. And I think, you know, it was just one of those things where we really wanted to see 1,000. We really just wanted that. We drew 1,000. You know, I don't think no independent wrestling event in Cleveland, Northeast Ohio, to my knowledge, has ever drawn over 1,000 people paid, you know, and that's another thing is we do 0 comps. So that's 717 paid. And
we had some people, some celebs trying to get some comp skis, and you were like, why don't they pay you over there?
Yes, what you don't get paid where you work? You know, they don't pay you over there. So
I have a question though. Do you think, and I thought about this, do you think maybe, I mean, and because I walked around with the GoPro and filmed the meet and greet line for Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett and Satnam and everybody, and it was long. But I mean, it was long, you know, for Shook Ones when they did the kind of impromptu meet and greet. Do you think maybe that kind of cut it almost in half for the meet and greet because people had just recently seen Jeff? Because I mean, it's such a huge draw. Do you feel like maybe there was a handful of people that were like, well, you know, I met him in Akron that night.
I mean, that would be, you know, if you counting Akron, this is the 4th time that we've had Jeff,
right?
You know, so I mean that you know, those types of people that only come for the special guests, like that probably did impact that a little bit, you know. Obviously, we knew that, but this was a different situation, you know, and like I looked at it more of like, hey, Jeff Jarrett has never wrestled in AIW. And to me, like, that was like a bucket list thing, you know, like I thought,
sure,
you know, I thought that would never happen. And, it did. So, I mean, like I said, I'm not like doom and gloom disappointed. I mean, obviously there's, you know, we wanted to hit a goal and we fell short of it. And that just means that, you know, we're putting that goal on August 1st. And, you know, this is that call to action right now that we want everybody there August 1st. You know, we're doing the same thing. Tickets only $15 for that mezzanine level, you know, and we even decreased the floor tickets a little bit, you know, like just being self-aware enough to know that there's a lot of things going on, you know, and if people have to choose, they're probably not going to choose AIW because they think AIW is just going to be here next month. But like, I don't know, you know, after Wrestle Rager, we don't have any dates in the Cleveland area. So, you know, like I said, August is kind of, you know, it's really pivotal, I think, for the company as far as, you know, how we're going to plan things for the last quarter of the year and into, you know, 2025, because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, there are some weird things going on at the temple, not from the actual people there, but, you know, it is a corporate entity, you know, and they're struggling with this, you know, they want big time comedians and touring bands in there, you know, like for, you know, just they have multiple venues and they're trying to get these relationships with these big time talent agencies, and you know, sometimes they can't hold the date for AIW, you know what I mean? So there's just a lot of factors at play right now, and you know, I think if we walk in there August 1st and, you know, we have that place filled up even more, it's just kind of forcing the hand and pushing the hand, you know, and like that's all we have. That's the only bargaining chip we have, is if we can put people in those seats.
I think it's an interesting show too, because, you know, we have been kind of going of this model as of late, you know, with the school and the roster and filling our roster with these hometown guys and guys that we're building. And, you know, there have been some fans that, you know, have said that have strayed a little bit from, since maybe the Mount Carmel days, even, where it was, you know, the shows were a lot of fly-in talents, a lot of these indie super names or whatever you will call it. This show is much more heavily featured on stuff like that. I mean, the list of people that are coming in already is incredible. You know, Anthony Green, Motor City Machine Guns, Heath, who else we got? I mean, there's, you know, there's Kenta, excuse me, yeah, John Wayne Murdoch. Yeah, I mean, this is very focused, heavily focused on names that you're not going to see in AIW, you know, show after show. And I can
confirm Gringo Loco is coming back just for that night.
Nice. Nice. So yeah. So I mean, you know what I mean. So this is definitely one for some of those fans. Jump back in. Here's a show that's going to be mostly outside talent for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just at this point now, to where I'm pushing the chips in, and I'm betting on Cleveland to not let us down. Not even Cleveland, just Northeast Ohio, really, to not let us down. We're the home team. We're playing the home game Thursday night. We need people to support it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm not gonna come on here and beg people through the door. I've always been pretty honest and transparent on this podcast because I think that that's the best way to go about things. I'm not gonna lie to people and say that we're more successful than we really are. I mean, that's just stupid to do. I'm not going to lie to people. I'm not going to lie to myself. To me, that's just not how you gain the trust of your fans.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also there. You can lie all you want, but everyone knows the truth. People see photos. People know how many people are in a building. You know what I mean? You see photos and videos of shows. People know. There's no sense in lying. You know what I mean? The numbers, everything will speak for itself.
Right, and I mean, I don't think people understand. Like $15. I know people complain about the Ticketmaster fees and all that stuff, but listen, we lowered our ticket prices. We don't get, you know what I mean? We don't get that additional stuff. And then we get taxed. We get taxed at 8% on everything. Every ticket sold. So we're not even getting $15 per ticket. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I don't think people take that into consideration. We could easily just put it at 20, and then you have a higher fee, and you got to pay more of a fee, and we're trying to be accommodating, by taking less money, and I feel like that has to pay off eventually. You know what I mean? I feel like us doing things like that has to pay off. I told Pedro that I said I truly believe we're due. We're due. There's no question of it in my mind. We are due for a fucking big run. I for whatever reason, I just can feel it, and I feel like it's coming.
Yeah, AIW against the world, I feel like is a great kicking off point. That's for sure. Definitely want to pack the house.
I hope, we still have floor seats left for that. We have some second and third rows left. I'd like to see those gone this week. This fucking lineup. And I mean, I know that, I'm not going to say it, but I know that the fucking, some of the shit that's maybe in the works, and some of the people that have reached out to me.
Oh, yeah. The one yesterday was holy shit.
Right. Yeah, so there's some fucking shit that's going to happen on Thursday, August 1st. I don't even know what it is, but there's a lot. The last couple weeks have just been pretty fucking crazy for AIW. Yesterday was just nuts, which I'm not going to be able to talk about at all until after August 1st, no doubt. But we received, 2 weeks ago, we received an offer to come to the Columbus area for the first time, which is in the works, which sounds like a fucking very crazy opportunity, crazy situation.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
This last Friday, we were approached and got an offer to potentially return to the Youngstown area, which, I know a lot of people have been waiting on and been trying to, been looking for places for us. And, and these are just cold things out of the blue that we haven't been pursuing. Mm-hmm. And then the thing yesterday is fucking insane. If that even comes remotely close to happening.
That would probably be something that you probably wouldn't even be able to advertise, right?
I mean, I don't know. We're just gonna move on from this topic right now.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just saying. I just feel like there's just a lot of positive momentum. But at the end of the day, we're a Cleveland wrestling company. I want that home base in Cleveland. I think the Temple. I think we all have kind of a love-hate with it for different reasons.
I love it.
Man, it makes us it like there's like you cannot walk into an AIW show in the Temple and not go, fuck, this is fucking a big show, you know?
That cap, like, and that's why I thought it was a great decision on your part. Like you said, I know Pedro hated it. He didn't want to spend the money. A lot of, you know, some people in the company said, I don't know if this was worth it. But man, have all the photos you've seen, every one of them looks so sick. We have a lot of incredible fan photographers, and shout out to all of them, because I have seen some incredible photos. Those lights with the smoke and the entrance gear and all that stuff, you know, the entranceway, and I thought it really looked like what you're describing. Like, if that was your first AIW show, you looked around and you went, wow, this is independent wrestling. Like, that, you could have took a photo that looked like the TNA Impact Zone at certain points, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was big time stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt, you know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know with this documentary. There's a lot of kind of positive things happening in the background, and I just feel like something's got to hit. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, the numbers coming in. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's either happening, or, you know, it's you know, it's going down. One or two things are happening by the end of the year. You know, like, I feel like that. You know, it's just like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're pushing all the chips in, you know, August 1st. Like, that's by far the most expensive lineup of all time that we've ever done. Like, there's no question about it already. You know, there's no way there's probably no way we're going to come close to breaking even. But, like, we're doing that to just fucking, like, just show, like, hey, you know, not even just Cleveland, just maybe not even just Northeast Ohio. Like, hey, Ohio, like, this is the shit that we've been capable and we've been doing for years. This is just it in a very fucking, you know what I mean? Like condensed, like, here, like, condensed, like, presentation, you know, instead of spreading it out over time. But, you know, we're doing it.
I really feel like it already, and like we didn't even announce all of the card, but I just feel like it already has so much for every part of wrestling, and every, like, if you're traveling in from out of town, or if you've never seen AIW, this card already has something basically for everybody. Tag team highlights, you know, that we got John Wayne Murdoch, you got some deathmatch, you know, hardcore stuff in there. Kenta, you got international guys, you know what I mean? There's so Heath, you got, you know, at WWE guys, you know, WWE is going to be in town, you know what I mean? You're cornering that market. Hey, you know, we got somebody, a name, you know, from the WWE for how many years, you know what I mean? I just feel like we haven't even announced, you know, all of it.
Right. Yeah, so, you know, that's just kind of the hope. You know, like I said, Absolution did fall a little shy of all of our goals, and in fact, it's been down off the last two temples. But, you know, it's still an incredible feat to get over 700 people to show up, you know, when that, you know, most shows are not even coming close to that. So, you know, it's still incredibly proud of it, but just wish that we could have hit that 1,000. You know, it would have given us some more breathing room, and you know, just 1,000 people in there with that setup would have just been fucking nuts. I mean, it still looked awesome, but like, every one of those fucking lower bowl seats full, that would have been fucking pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we could say about the show too. You know, I don't want to give out too many spoilers or anything. If any, you know, hey, haven't watched it, definitely go back to Triller TV and get the fight numbers up. You know, get the replays going. Which I know you did say there was a question. The Power at one point, you know, they had built this whole brand new HVAC unit in there, and I guess from what we're told by the building people and or the sound guys, kind of one that relayed that. What our suspicion was, at some point during the show, the HVAC kicked on, the AC kicked on, and the whole stage left side of the building shut off. All the like power like surged for like a good 5 seconds, and that's what Chase's side was. You know, on the left side, audio was to the right, but it can knock the stream out completely. I know you said you were hopeful that you know, the re-edit will be up there. But that was, in case anyone was wondering, that was what happened.
I just need Chase to get me a file. You know what I mean? And then I could send it over. But
It's possible that that scene will be shown because we were being filmed. The documentary crew was rolling on kind of us and the production table at the time. So if they choose to put that in there, you'll be able to see what we're talking about. But yeah, that was wild. You were back there for that, right? You were standing right there, right? Weren't you?
Yeah, and I was just like, fucking. Like, what's going on?
Everyone was like, what the fuck? And then we looked over to my side, and the audio board and everything was still on because, I mean, we've had issues there at the temple before that with power surging and the sound, and you hear that big boom. That's the amplifiers, the speakers, all that stuff turning on and off, unexpectedly. This time that didn't happen because it was just one half of the building. But they were filming, the boom mic was over us. Everybody was like, what the hell was that? What is happening? Why is the computer's off? Oh my God, the stream's down. It was like 90 different things at once. It was crazy as hell. And then it just came back on.
Yeah, that was just like that was just the chaos of the moment, and there was just a lot there. For being an Absolution, though, I will say, like, that was probably like the only really big issue, which people there live didn't even they have no idea,
Oh yeah, right.
It's really for the people that were watching via stream, but yeah, we're gonna try to get it. I'm gonna try to get it resolved because the cameras and everything kept rolling, and everything was still going in through the streaming software, but like Chase's Apple Studio that he runs it off of, that that cut and like the internet cut and. That needed to be restarted, but like everything was still coming through on the monitor, like it was, you know what I mean. It was weird.
Yeah, it was a wild time, that's for sure. But I mean, I feel like we've had some things happen here or there, but that's the thing I love about the crew, and I think you tweeted it and said that everyone worked so hard, and we have such a tight-knit crew. I think everybody, we've all been striving, every production and all this, really trying to get better every time and get tighter and figure all this stuff out, because we had several different meetings all day Saturday, talking about, discussing, when wrestlers, someone would overhear wrestlers talking about their match and stuff in a spot, and someone would say, hey, make sure you tell Chase and get that in the production notes so we know where the cameras to be and all this stuff. And just everyone was really on it as far as communication and trying to, get everything together. And I think it really played out well.
The producers of the documentary actually tried to offer me a job. They said if anything doesn't, if something, one day falls through with my actual real job, they said like I should be like I would be a good like movie producer, because they since they were actually on me like all day, right? They were just watching all the multitasking I have to do and all the different kind of things I have to coordinate. Yeah, and like it doesn't really, it's just what you do. You know what I mean? And like I was like, oh, I don't know, like this is what I do. I don't really have any stress about it. You know what I mean? And I told them, I was like, if you're going to follow me around all day, it's just going to be me sending a lot of text messages and, doing a lot of things like that, and which it is, because, you have people at the airports, you have, just all kinds of different things, a lot of moving parts going on.
That was almost even something kind of we talked about in the segment that that they filmed for the documentary, when we were kind of in the back starting to do stuff, and they were talking to you back there, and you kind of pulled me aside, and that was kind of something we talked about, which is how many different hats and how many different irons in the fire you have going in every given day, on every given one day of the show, how many times people are going to hear Thorn or just yelling your name. It's just kind of constantly and all day, like, handling business type deal.
Yeah, and I mean, I had, several meetings just with different talents throughout the day, and, going over matches and ideas and things like that. So, obviously you never know how a documentary is going to turn out, or, what it's going to turn into. But, I think that everybody's happy to, like, not have the stress of a boom mic, you know what I mean? Like following you around everywhere. And if it's anything remotely close to the trailer, it's going to fucking be awesome. I was just like, I was joking with one of the producers, and I was just like, so like, when am I booking my ticket to Cannes? Like, what am I going? when we go to Sundance, like what's the deal? Like give me the dates. Like I'm ready for it. So
yeah, I mean it's really cool. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fun. It's a different experience, obviously. You having the microphones and the cameras. You don't want to say something dumb, when they're there. But it's a lot of fun. You almost kind of forget too. Then once the day is going, and that was the thing. We had so much.
They actually said I was the first person probably of all time that didn't forget. Every person that came up to me, I made sure that they knew that I was mic'd up.
that was so funny too, because that was the statement of the day. We're like, NFL Films, I'm mic'd up, bro. Hey, I'm mic'd up over here.
It's like, hey, I'm mic'd up. Sorry, mic'd up.
Yeah, that was it was a good day though, man. I feel like there were so many things, as far as just things you kind of called on the fly.
Papa Pepperoni thing was so on the fly. That's so fucking fun.
That was kind of what I was going to bring up. Yeah, that was one of the best ones, the Papa Pep moment, man. I mean, that was incredible.
He was so mad. Like I hope that stuff's caught in the documentary, because he just kind of walked in and whatever. And I don't know if you were just fucking around or what, but like he was standing on the stage and you started playing that Zamore. And like it had that that like big intro with like the fucking from Napoli,
yeah,
like, with the like opera singing. And like I looked and I was like, oh man, like it was like a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got your gear? And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Such a great sport, dude. Yeah, he did not want that song
he was trying to get out of it, and I said, well, if you fucking stood in line and bought a ticket like you're supposed to, you wouldn't be getting put to work today.
That's the thing. Yeah, Papa Pep, comes with Philadelphia, and it's you're in the back there. They're gonna put you to work, and it was funny. I want to say, I guess, shouts to Clemens. I think was the one who was like, what would Papa Pepperoni? He was standing back there, and we were just making jokes like, what would his entrance song be? And I think Jake was the one who said, that's more. So then he goes, two legs, fire it off, and we hit that, and I think we all had the same realization of like, oh man, that is good. And he did not like it. He wanted something cool, typo negative or some shit. And we all said absolutely not. Me and you tight on the reins on music selections. I think the final tally, to pull back the curtain a little bit, was 5 different music changes we had on Saturday nights.
Almost 6, but
almost 6 or 7. Yeah, they kept wanting to change.
Thank God for Shaw, because fucking who would have known 15 minutes before bell time that Donald Trump would have stole his would be new entrance theme.
That shit was crazy. It is crazy that will be caught in the documentary. Like the moment when that happened, they were filming. You know what I mean? And that went all around through the back. Through the back of the.
I don't know if they'll use any of that. They actually told me that they, because it became like everybody was like so like, holy shit, this is like a crazy moment in American history.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, we actually kind of like stopped recording for a while, because like it was just so. Everybody was just like, holy fuck, what just, what is going on in America right now? And like right when the show was getting ready to start, like it just started going around. And everyone's like, and they're like, they actually said, they're like, we're going to give 30 minutes of just like, let people, just process all this stuff that happened, and and just kind of like shut the cameras down for a little bit,
I think that was because you even said too, they unmiked you and you go, I'm gonna go rock a piss off. The guy said, I'll turn the mic off on you, and you said, you might want to do that. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that was man, that was crazy. So many wild things happened.
But yeah, Shaw Mason wanting man, because he was in that serious match. He wanted to come out to Many Men by 50 Cent, and then fucking Donald Trump stole it, dude. That's like all the memes is an hour later. Yeah. Yeah, so. That was, I just, people, I get wanting to change your music for, like a big moment, for certain things. But there's certain people on the roster who. I just think you build this equity up and this familiarity of your music. And then on the biggest show, people don't know you're coming out. Like when people hear Protovision, they know that's Joey Janela. Anywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just like, the one person was like, well, this is what I use at other places. Says, yeah, but you're not wrestling in front of those fans. You know what I mean? Like, you're wrestling in front of these fans who've come out to this song.
The crossover isn't as big as they think it is, I guess, maybe. Yeah, they're not going to... AIW fans aren't going to recognize it.
Right, and I was like, you're playing... You know what I mean? Like, you got to know the audience you're playing to today, you know? So, like, I just don't understand the thinking of it, you know? But all it is like, you know, it's kind of stealing a pop from yourself, in my opinion, you know? Like I said, you know, like certain guys, you know, they're going to get a pop every time, you know? But... because of their music, it's familiar, you know. Like when you hear that fucking first thing off Sabotage, you know Josh Bishop's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say, you know, shouts for Isaiah Broner. His music was different, but like we were talking about, and I said that day too. You know, he had that beginning part that is his recognizable part. So I get wanting to change it or have something, you know, for a big serious moment. But like you said,
that was like a made sense transition.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yes. It was his song, that original Big Pop, so everyone knows it's him. But then it kind of transitioned and it kind of set a serious tone for him. You know what I mean? Which that's why I thought his worked. It wasn't a complete change of the song, but yeah, we had quite a few. That day.
Yeah, but it was just, you know, like some stuff was just, I don't know, like I even tweeted it. Like, I don't even know if anyone remembers a lot about the Papa Pepperoni stuff when PME was on the heel, you know, the heel run, and he had a few things. But I was like, dude, like, this makes so much sense. Like, he was trying to help you guys the whole time when you're bad guys, like, and now you're up against these bad guys, like. Like, he should help you guys win. You know what I mean? And he was like, so like not about it, you know, like, and I think he thought I was fucking with him, and I was like, no, dude, like, it is happening. And
yeah, because somebody gave him a shirt, and he goes, I got a fucking, he goes, I go, you're really doing it, huh? He goes, yeah, they gave me a fucking shirt, I guess I got to, right? And that's the thing, though, he's not trying to put himself over. He doesn't come up and show up back there and, hey, anything you want me to do on the show, guy? You know, he's not trying to put himself out there.
He did not want to. He did not want to do it at all. But like, he's like literally, like, he's legit like one of like the best guys that you can ever meet in your entire life.
Love him.
Like, one of my favorite people that anytime I see him anywhere, I fucking, like, you just laugh when you see that guy because you know, like, he's like, you're about to have a good time when Papa Pepperoni's around. So like, it was just whatever the stress of this day was, like, knowing that this guy was going to come out to That's Amore at some point, like at some point of the night, that was like, as strange as it sounds, like, that was getting me through all of it, because I could not stop laughing after we came up with this plan in the afternoon. Yeah. And like, every time I would see him and he was just sitting there kind of like sulking, like, I don't want to do it. Like, it would just fucking make me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the first times the first time I ever met Papa Pepperoni, I was still a fan, and we were sitting, you know, back at Mount Carmel, and they were trying to get wrestlers to eat this hot dog, and he kept setting the hot dog on the guardrail at Mount Carmel, and it was balancing there, and we were just hammer drunk, and it was so damn funny. I remember, like, my stomach hurt because we were laughing so hard, and I remember being like, man, I hope no one's mad at us, because it was almost like we were almost being a little rude to the show, because we were laughing so hard about this fucking hot dog bit that he was doing, and it was just so goddamn funny. We're like, who even is this guy? But we just could not stop laughing. He's just the best.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. So, you know, and like, it was nice to kind of give him a little moment and, you know, have him out there with his brother and let them have a moment together. I thought that was also, you know, kind of a collateral damage of this idea, you know, a positive thing to do. So that was, you know, that was one of those things that came up with on the fly, you know, just throughout the day. And, you know, that's just how you do it. You know, it's just like, I thought it just made for a fun moment. I didn't think it was, you know, like some people were really against it, you know, but I thought it was, you know, I thought it was great. And yeah, that's just one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if this is even going to make sense. I don't know if anyone's going to care, but like, I'm going to laugh about it. So we're doing it.
That's the beauty of owning the company, right?
Yeah, like, I was like, we're doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I think everybody just likes him, you know what I mean? So everybody was like everybody's stressed out, but like, I think everybody was just like fucking like, oh yeah, this is gonna be ridiculous. This is gonna be fun. Like it like provided like a, you know, a little spice of, you know, like just good old fashioned fun right in the middle of this extremely stressful day and show. And yeah, I just really thought that it kind of took the edge off for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was great. There were so many other moments, man. The Danhausen entrance for him versus Derek, the entrance that he did with all the different, you know, the Danhausen imposters and all that stuff. That was really cool to see. You know, we didn't get like a you know, jokey, goofy Danhausen. We got the serious Danhausen. That was really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, to his credit, that was all him. He, you know, he wanted to do like a WrestleMania type entrance at Absolution. He went out and, you know, he bought all the stuff and coordinated all the people to come out with him. And, you know, he wanted to do something cool and have that cool kind of moment at Absolution and give it that extra feel. And, you know, that's kind of what I was thinking about yesterday, kind of reflecting on stuff. And it's just like, it's so cool that we've developed these relationships over the years and time to where, like, you know, like Gringo Loco was like, he was like, please let me come do this for Absolution. I don't even want to wrestle. I want to help it. Like, this is the lowest amount of money that it can cost. I really want to do this for you. And, you know, he's like, you're the first person that ever believed in me and all this stuff. I want to give back. You know, Danhausen wanted to give back, wanted to do like a big fucking thing, invested his own money in it. You know what I mean? Like Joey Janela wanted to be an Absolution, wanted to work with somebody new. You know what I mean? Wanted to give back to AIW. And you know, you just think about stuff like that and it's just like, wow, you know, like that is the stuff that is just really cool about, you know, pro wrestling or AIW or whatever is, you know, these just relationships that are built over time, over years, and these people that really do care about the company and want it to be cool and want it to go on and like want to give back to it, you know, like stuff like that. It's just, you know, it really is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about it too, to kind of bring on that point, talking about Joey. Man, you know, people can say whatever they want about that guy, but he even said too, one of the most polarizing figures in independent wrestling. But my God, is that dude good, man? He brings it. He always does. You know, and look at,
he does not get the credit that he deserves.
Nope.
For being one of the all-time greatest independent wrestlers. You know, of all, he goes out and he works hard, no matter who he's in there against, and tries to bring out the best and tries to bring them to his level and make them a star. You know, he probably never even heard of Mikey Montgomery before Saturday night, and he went out there and he worked his ass off, and you know, he was accepting of Mikey's ideas, and they put together an awesome fucking match. And Joey, you know, had no problem, you know, losing and, you know, putting him over, and you know, just wanted to give back and keep, you know, pay it forward. There's not a lot of guys with that attitude, you know, and Joey Janela does not get the credit he deserves for wanting to pay it forward to wrestling and wanting to do these things, right? It's to make every show he's on better. You know, I really think that, you know, he can be polarizing and all that stuff, but between the ropes, he is like, he always delivers. He's always, you know, he's always going to get attention when you book him. You know, whether it's good or bad, you know, that's that polarizing kind of, you know, label, but he works so extremely hard. And, you know, he told me last year, you know, he said, I want to be on Absolution. And, you know, he's like, it's one of the few big marquee independent wrestling events in this country. And he's like, I want to be on it. And, you know, he wanted to work with somebody new. He wanted to work with one of our guys. And I picked Mikey. He didn't know who the fuck Mikey was. I'm almost positive he did not know who the fuck Mikey was. And, you know, they went out there and they had an awesome match. And, you know, I thought it was a star-making performance from Mikey Montgomery. I think he's always a guy that's kind of on that cusp, you know, two steps forward, you know what I mean? 3 steps back, you know, 1 step forward. Like he can never get the momentum for whatever reason. And I thought that, if people see that match, they're going to take notice of Mikey quite a bit coming out of it, because Joey did everything he could, to showcase Mikey and feature Mikey. And it was, that is just a great example of, what the pro wrestling business could and should be all the time.
Yeah, Joey can go, brother.
But yeah, Scott Norton, Joey can go, brother.
I mean, and that's the thing too. I think the match they had, like you said, when they were calling it, Joey was very into it, and they went out there and they just put on this banger, and he just really, laid it out there, for Mikey to have him have this big performance, and I think it really paid off. I think Mikey's confidence now should be sky high. Like I said, not too many spoilers, but there was a point in the match where, a misstep happened, but then they came right back, and Mikey did an incredible move. And I think that having that falter and then being able to step up in that spot and completely deliver and just pull off an insane, move, I think that did so much for Mikey. I think
sometimes a mistake is like the greatest gift in the match, and like it just shows your versatility, and you're able to kind of make the best out of situation. And I just think that's the big thing that I think people need to know. If you want to know one thing about Joey Janela, is regardless of whatever you think of him as a human or whatever, like, that dude cares about every single booking and match that he has. He wants it to matter, and he wants the show to do well. Like, he genuinely cares that, if AIW were to stay or go out of business, you know what I mean? Like, he cares about every show that he's on. And, I just don't think that he gets the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I mean, it is known I'm a big Joey Janela guy, but I did want to say that because I thought that was an incredible night for Mikey, and I think a big, a part of that was Joey, and I think, I thought it was worth mentioning. Another thing from the show, we haven't even talked much about it all, but man, Jeff Jarrett, what a cool guy, man. I mean, my gosh,
I can't believe that happened. Another guy, kind of a polarizing figure in the world of wrestling. I mean, could not, absolutely, let me rephrase that. Absolutely should have, told me to fuck off, with this idea. You know what I mean? Like, he is so far above having to do indies or anything, but another guy that genuinely loves the professional wrestling business and gets it and wants to help. And if you are Jeff Jarrett, your legacy in the history books of pro wrestling is far secure. You know what I mean? Did not have to do this at all, does not have to do indies at all, but he fucking loves the wrestling business, and for some weird reason he seems to like me. And I don't know why, but we have worked with him 3 times prior to this, and I've been around him several other times besides the times I've booked him, and we've always gotten along, and just always genuinely just super friendly, always just I don't know, just it's weird to say that I think Jeff Jarrett and I are friends, but it's this Zegura and members only thing was just kind of they were just kind of fucking around. I don't know, it was never a thing. It was never a planned thing, I'll say that. And
it wasn't written we're going to involve, some media guy and throw him in that. That just kind of happened,
They were just I think it was genuinely they genuinely disliked each other. I don't members only didn't like how Zegura commentated their matches, and I don't think Zegura liked commentating their matches. I think he was not a fan of them. For real. And it led to some Twitter back and forth, and, to just kind of pull the curtain back. At one point, he felt members only crossed the line on some things, and there were some very important people tagged on a tweet that they responded to, and it got him some heat, a place that he didn't want to get heat with. So and I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, I woke up one morning and I just remembered that the last time Jeff Jarrett came, like, I was trying to think, like, who is an ally of members only? Like, if we were going to come up with a match, who would be an ally? And I couldn't really think of any.
Yeah, they kind of hate everybody.
But I remembered that, like, that Jeff Jarrett had saved them at I think it was Hell on Earth a few years ago, like coming out of COVID.
Yep.
And I just went, and I'll never forget it. I came, like, in the office I have at my house, and I, like, sat down, like, at the computer, and like opened up my email, and I just started typing out this idea. And it was, like, well thought out. Like, I'm just typing it. I've never done this before in my life. I am just typing out a full angle, and I emailed it to Jeff Jarrett. And he wrote back, and he was just like, I'm actually on a flight to AAA right now, but this is very interesting to me. And I was just like, okay. And then we had a few phone conversations, and I can't believe that it, like, when he was there on Saturday in his full gear, I just, I think I looked at somebody and I said, I can't believe that this is actually happening. Like, I woke up, like, on a Saturday morning and typed out a fucking email that I thought had a 5% chance of even getting a reply, know? And then, like, there he is. There's Satnam saying there's Karen Jarrett. Like, they're geared up. There's members only. And I'm just like, and, like, there's Nathan Zegura in full wrestling gear. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like, this is probably my greatest accomplishment as a booker promoter, that I was able to, like, actually formulate this crazy idea involving all these different moving parts and, like, get it in the ring on Saturday night. Like, it is probably one of my proudest moments of all time of being in the wrestling business, putting that together and, watching it unfold, and just how engaged Jeff Jarrett was with. Jeff Jarrett didn't have to do any of that. Calling into Brown's Daily.
That's what I was going to say.
Calling into the Ken Carmen show. Like, all this other stuff.
The amount of work this man did, you know what I mean? Like you were saying, he doesn't have to do that. He could have came in, got on the mic, called everyone a bunch of fucking hillbillies, and rode out on the sunset. You know what I mean? The amount of work this man did, like you said, he was calling into 92.3 and shit. He called into the the podcast they do on Brown's Daily and shit. Like, it was crazy.
9 a.m. calling into the Ken Carmen show. You know what I mean? Like, after traveling home from AEW, just like, maybe he's a little mad, pulling back the curtain too much and giving him his props. But man, fucking, he deserves his props, man. Like, for him to come and do that, he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? He didn't have to do anything for us, for me, for anything. And, he didn't know Nathan Zegura from a hole in the wall. And he just got it. You know what I mean? He understood it. He got it. He thought, it was great. He loved the opportunity to get Satnam some reps in kind of a hostile environment like this with some other big athletic guys. He understood what my vision was, and, like, he really he bought into it. And, dude, did he ever buy in? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just fucking cannot say enough good stuff about him and, what he did. And then he didn't even, like, show up and was like, okay, like, it wasn't like they went out there and did some house show match. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He approached it like it was a television match. He produced the whole thing. Like, he typed out paragraphs of ideas.
Yeah.
Like, and presented it to everybody. Like, just fucking, like, such a professional. Cannot say enough good thing. I don't know if he is even interested in doing indies or what, but like, everybody should try to get in business with Jeff Jarrett. I mean, in some capacity, because he is he is a pro's pro of pro wrestling. Like, cannot say enough good things. Karen Jarrett was like so amazing as well, like super awesome. You know, just down for whatever, just incredibly professional people to work with. Like, cannot say enough about them. You know, and they brought Cody with them. You know, the Karen's son, Jeff's stepson.
Yeah, great kid.
You know,
super nice.
Yeah, he's so like, it was just it was awesome. You know, just a great experience. Shout out to Nathan Zegura. I think I'm pretty sure he was. You know, if he didn't, he was very close to crying when that thing was over. That was a lifelong dream for him to be able to do that. And yeah, I was fucking with him. You know, oh, another thing that we have to shout out is Old 86, man. Like,
yeah,
that was an awesome time.
Oh, I tweeted about it, and I told you, too, in the group chat, like, that's the bar, dude. Like, there has not been an AIW after spot like that since for a long time. That was the spot,
and that's like,
man.
So many fans went. You know what I mean? It was fucking packed. It was
a lot
awesome.
of room. It wasn't crowded. There's an outdoor area. You know, there was there's 2 different bars. I even laughed because I asked Pants, too, and I was like, do the tabs transfer from the front to the back? He's like, yeah, we had like 9,000 signs printed, but everyone still asks me, yeah, it does. And then as soon as I looked up, there was a sign like over his shoulder. I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, but yeah, Pants, he's the best, dude. Gracious guy. He had a blast. I mean, that Old 86 was awesome. That was a good ass time.
It was awesome, but what I was getting at is, you know, Zegura, you know, went there, you know, as well, and he brought all his people, and you know, he was thanking me, like I was fucking with him. I was like, yeah, man. Those 50-yarders are going to be pretty nice when the season starts.
Fuck that, dude. You want field passes? Just get on the field. You don't need a seat. Just walk around on the sideline.
Give me the field passes. But yeah, no, he was awesome too. I mean, I even said this to the AIW Academy students. I said, how he is promoting this match should be studied by all of you. You know, because he did everything imaginable to get people in there, and he was disappointed that we didn't break 1,000. But you know what I mean? Like, how he promoted in just a true master, honestly, of promoting things. And you know, I know that he had several kind of meetings with you know, Miz and, you know, Cardona, and you know, he had several conversations with, you know, how to kind of push the match and things like that, and things to do. But man, his just approach and marketing approach to everything, like I said it to the Academy, I was like, this should be studied, I mean, by you guys, because he is just doing a masterclass right now.
Yeah, he really cares. That was kind of the thing. It's not like he's a guy who just kind of showed up and was like, oh, you know, I'm a big guy and this is a big deal in this town. I could do what I want. I'll just sit down and commentate because I like wrestling a little bit. He really loves it. I mean, look at the guy's gear. Spoiler, wrestling gear is not cheap. That guy has put threw some money down. You know, he put his money where his mouth is. He cares. He promoted the hell out of it, like you said. He got in the academy and was training. It's not like something he just jumped into without training. He could put in a lot of work. Just the nicest guy, though, too. Every show, he's always just the nicest guy, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, that's the thing. You know, like sometimes it's like not about having the best or the best match or booking the most sought after talent. Like, that was a moment. You know what I mean? Like, and it was, you know, made somebody's lifelong dream come true. You know what I mean? Shit like that, when you do shit like that and it works and it goes well, like, it feels good, you know, and like, it feels like there's, you know, it's putting some, you know, some positive momentum, you know, somewhere down the line for us. You know what I mean? Like, sure. I said, I just really, for whatever reason, I feel like we're due, and like, you know, that's just, you know, one of those things to where it's just like, that's what makes a big show. A big show, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. And it's, you know, it was awesome. And, you know, what a just spectacle that whole thing was. And, you know, everybody involved in it, you know, Bishop and Sam and Tom, you know what I mean? Poor fucking Tom.
Man's a fucking national treasure. Filthy, I've been saying it forever. Filthy Time is the fucking best. And he once again proved it on Saturday.
I know.
The head dribble spot, dude. Jesus Christ.
It wasn't even caught on the stream either.
A little bit of it was, I think, because we were seeing it. We saw something happen because on Chase's monitor as the 2 shots, you know, and they were on something on the ring, and then they panned and quickly went back to him getting dribbled off the thing, and everyone in the back was like, "Oh my god! Like, what is that?" So they definitely caught some of it.
I went out into the show space during the match because I just kind of wanted to feel it a little bit, and like I was like standing in the crowd when that was happening. I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, fuck.
Did you hear what he said too? And speaking of, we didn't really get to too much into Satnam Singh, dude. How cool is that guy, man? Like, Jesus Christ, talk about a spectacle. The man is fucking enormous.
Did you shake his hand?
Yeah.
Dude, like, I was like, where did my hand go?
I felt like a tiny baby, yeah. I was like, please don't kill me.
His hands are so big. Like, dude, like, his fingers were, like, as big as my forearm. Like, it's fucking, like, it was, like, I was like, where's my hand at? You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, disappeared. But, like, super cool guy. Fucking the largest human I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. There was just so many things. Another thing too,
did you see Dom? He tweeted his pic. He got a like bro photo with Satnam.
Oh yeah,
and then
yeah.
He tweeted the Billy Crystal movie, My Giant, with George Mearshon. And I told Dom, I said, I'm probably the only person on this planet that's met both of those giants.
Oh wow, yeah.
I met George. I was in Tower City, and when I was a kid, and the Washington Bullets were in town, and George Mearshon was just eating in the Tower City food
sitting
court.
In there.
And I was like, I didn't know who he was, and like my grandma was like, "Can you have your autograph?" Because like I didn't know. I probably got it on like an Orange Julius napkin or something from Tower City.
So funny.
When I was a kid, but yeah, fucking. The thing that's different though about Big George and Satnam is like a thick fucking big dude too. Like he's got some muscle on him. You know, he is a big motherfucker.
Yeah, he's not like long and skinny like Mearshon is, but yeah, he is. Yeah, Tom told him, just do giant shit to me. Just beat the shit out of me, bro. He just gave him a license to just do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah, I mean,
another thing,
everybody just did fucking awesome in that match. No, that's all I was gonna say. Yeah,
oh man, the guitar shot too, the double guitar shot, concerto guitars was awesome. Members only, man, big. That was a great match. Something else I wanted to talk about was kind of we opened up the questions on the Discord, and our guy Russ Williams, he asked something else I wanted to bring up, you know, but going to the questions here is how long was the Matt Justice surprise in the works? And they're looking to see. He wants to know if we can look forward to seeing Matt more often.
You know, there's some things going on to where we didn't know, you know, there were a few people that maybe weren't going to be able to be there. And so I just kind of had the idea of booking Matt as kind of like a utility surprise in a way. Like there were different places where he could have maybe landed depending on a lot of factors. But I knew that at Absolution, no matter what happened, he would be a pop. So I just kind of decided that I was going to book him as a utility kind of surprise, you know, depending on, you know, where I would need him. And, you know, the worst case scenario was going to be he was going to enter the ladder match as a fourth person. So that was kind of, you know, there was a lot, like I said, there was a lot of different things going on. So, you know, luckily it all came together. But, you know, I just kind of had him booked as, you know, kind of the ace up the sleeve as the, you know, surprise utility person somewhere on the show.
I just thought it fit so well with the ladder match, just being, just pure chaos. That's something obviously Justice is known for. And it's a great surprise. It's a great swerve. We've said it a million times. That's one of the beauties of pro wrestling is the surprise. You know what I mean? When that match is about to happen and then right before that hits, you hear Fonzie's music, and Fonzie's a guy who's been with PME, so you he was with Justice forever. That's originally who he's with, but maybe some fans didn't really realize what's going on, or if you do realize what's going on right away, that you hear that music and then you hear that talking before, you hear either talking before Justice's song. I mean that was a loud pop. I mean that was a good time for sure.
Yeah. I mean it was so. I would say it was in the works for. I don't know, at least a month before Absolution, he was booked.
Okay. Excuse me. Stacy Silvers, a good friend of the show, was curious. The additional production was just the lights or sound too. He's saying it was louder, clear, and the subs were hitting. I guess it's kind of more of a question for me. No. Everything was the same except for we have a different sound engineer that runs the house sound. There's a big board, that all the subs and all that stuff's connected to. I connect to that through some cords and wires and all that audio magic. But there's somebody else, that's a master operator of all that stuff.
What I found out, though, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But what I found out when I was talking to them, because, like I was saying at the kind of the top of the pod is, the active people in the Cleveland branch that we deal with, they fucking love AIW. If it was up to them, AIW would run that fucking big room every fucking month. They love it. And I was talking to him, and I was just like talking about the old sound guy, and how he really did a lot to kind of get us some heat, and would he was the one that was walking through with the with the white glove, so to speak, and checking for dirt wherever he could find it, and then would write it all down and take it to the old GM, and that's where like a lot of the disagreements would come, because he'd be like, well, look, it looks like they broke this chair, or just little like dumb tattletale shit, nothing that we were openly trying to hide or anything, you know what I mean? But this guy would go out of his way to
seem worse almost.
Yeah, and like to do things that like we, like they probably wouldn't have cared about, at the end of the day, but he would throw a big fit about it before we left. And then, so anyway, I said, man, it's been so great. And, because obviously he was also difficult for you to deal with, difficult for us to deal with, difficult for Chase to deal with. And I said, it's just been great these last few that, that other guy hasn't been here and you've been doing it. And they said he is no longer there at all. He's gone. He ain't coming back. So, and that guy actually that's been doing it, he's like, I don't even do sound. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my job. He's like, I think he's like in the office, like a marketing guy or something. But he just does it for us because he knows how to do it. But they did, with the upgrades that have been going on at the temple, like, we talked about the new HVAC system, the air conditioning, all that stuff. They did, get a completely new sound setup in there, because I don't know if this is kind of a deep cut, but about a year ago, there was a lot of articles going around that Templelive got a huge, like grant, like historical grant or something for the building for them to continue to fix it up. And, they are spending that money, you know what I mean? And getting that HVAC system, got all new sound. And then they told me that they're also putting another show space inside the complex, like that's going to be active pretty soon. They're putting another 1,000 cap space in there. Yeah. So, they're working on a lot of stuff, but so the answer is kind of yes, because they did get new stuff.
Right. Well, they would have had to if he's not there anymore, because that was his equipment. He owned all that stuff, but he also didn't give a shit. He would not let me see. He'd barely ever let me really check anything, sound test, and do that. This other new kid will come back who goes, oh, pull this down a little bit. It's, you know, because where we're at in the back is behind the front sound, and we don't have monitors in the back there. I can just hear it through my headphones. Hearing it over headphones and then hearing it out front where it's a Masonic temple, like it's echoey, it's all this stuff. It's very hard to run it and just do it from the back. So actually having a head engineer up front telling me pull this down or do this, and actually us checking the sound and making it sound tight, yeah, that's why. It's just a new guy who's not a jerk.
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything mean, but yeah, that guy was
he's
not
actually
nice.
like a wrestling fan. He's a wrestling fan. Like, I think I'm pretty sure he told me he came to Mount Carmel shows.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's like fully aware of AIW, and like he's like really pushing to keep us in there, you know, and work something out.
Yeah, couldn't be nicer. Great dude for sure.
Yeah, super nice. You know, and just super great. You know, like the people that we're dealing with are fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It's just kind of the corporate structure is where we're, you know, getting some resistance. But yeah, I mean, fucking awesome. And, you know, not to kind of, you know, circle back, but how fucking crazy was that ladder match?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to give too much away on that too, but, you know, they came up with a crazy fucking finish to it that like nobody thought that they could pull off. You know, just all kinds of just like Eric Taylor fucking earned his fucking stripes. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
earned his fucking stripes. Like, star-making performance for sure. You know, Alec Price, always great. Wes really coming into his own, and then, you know, you have Justice in there kind of fucking directing traffic, and, you know, it was like a gang initiation or something, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's almost kind of what I was going to say, and I just really feel like Eric really stepped up to the plate. Prize is a guy, you know, we know he can go. Wes, the guy has been around. He shows he can show up in the big matches. Eric is a guy who, you know, his reign, he's had some great matches, he's done some great things, but I think this was a giant step forward for him. I think he gained a ton of respect from some fans and, you know, members of the crowd who maybe
I think members of the roster too. You know what I mean?
Members of the roster. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think they really, all four of those guys really laid it out on that match. Russ even kind of asks, he wants to know.
Well, before you go
Sure.
you go on, I just wanted to tell this little thing because I was like, I specifically remember this, like, this is like going on, and I was like, fucking, you're out of your element, Eric. And I was like, I asked you, like, I asked Chuck, and you overheard it. I was like, you ever see Big Lebowski? And like, you turned around, you're like, you're out of your element, Donnie.
It's my favorite movie.
And I was like, dude, Eric Taylor is the most out of his element motherfucker ever in this match. Like, and Chuck was laughing, and then he takes that fucking DVD off the top through the ladder, and I went, Eric Taylor's telling everybody to shut the fuck up. I
think everyone in the back kind of acknowledged it as well. Like, holy shit! Like, right after, because we laughed about that, we're talking about it. You know, with a little big Lebowski back and forth, and just kind of how crazy the match was laying out and everything. And then, yeah, Eric did that, and we were just like, oh, and you're like, you kind of like made the statement like, well, he heard it and told everyone to shut the fuck up. That's for sure, because it was, yeah, that DVD through the ladder was fucking disgusting.
Another thing that we forgot to kind of mention, because we've been bouncing all over the place.
Sure.
But fucking Joseline and Zaya Brookside like set the fucking tone for that whole fucking show. Like, they went out there and I think they over-delivered in a lot of people's eyes. I mean, they had a fucking awesome match, and like just setting the tone for the whole show was so fucking important to, like, just for the energy level and for it to stay where it was at all night. And I felt like we didn't have any lulls or anything all night. Like, everything just stayed fucking up and kept kind of, you know, going up, you know, and Chuck and Broner too. I mean, they fucking delivered. And then, you know, we have the fucking whole ending angle, you know, and all that stuff. Just like, I thought it was such a well, just fucking rounded show, and it wasn't super long. I think the show was over about 10:30 maybe.
Yeah,
you know, right in that window. Just fucking like really like felt like no matter what happens between the ropes, like it could be good, bad, or indifferent, but like when everybody's with it, you know what I mean, in the crowd, and everything is like hitting, no matter if they're having the greatest technical wrestling matches or not, is like so irrelevant to me. And like it was flowing well, like all that stuff just felt so good. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff felt like it was just hitting, you know, on all cylinders.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, I'm not I could care less if the match is good, bad, or, you know, whatever. But if people are with it and people are reacting and like the show is flowing and the energy level staying up in the show space, that's a fucking successful show to me. And like, I feel like we maintained that and accomplished that.
Yeah, I feel like what you were saying with the opening match with Joss and Zaya. The way we described it too before the show, that, you know, maybe Zaya didn't know what she was getting into or whatever, but they came out and they had a fight and they set the tone for that thing. It got wild immediately, but it didn't drag on. They didn't go long. I felt like they had a really great match in a good amount of time that really set the kind of tone for everyone for Absolution. Like, oh shit, like we are gonna see some, you know, shit's gonna get nasty here, and it did. You know, right after that, you see, you know, a title change. Mikey and Joey go out there and have that crazy ass banger. You know, just the whole night there was, yeah, like you said, there was no lulls. There was no
Dom
you know,
and Shaw fucking, you know, went crazy.
The submitter surrender was insane. Dom was just absolutely leaking blood everywhere. There was just so many spots.
You know, it's crazy. I don't want to blow his spot up either. And like, there was a lot of great stuff on this show. But like, Josh Bishop texted me. He's like Dom was the Absolution MVP. Like, he's like him, and you know, he went out and went, you know, he dragged it out of Shaw. You know what I mean? And like they had a great submitter surrender match. And
yeah.
You know, a great performance out of Shaw. You know, definitely talk about being out of your element. Shaw was 100% out of his element. And, you know, just another good Absolution performance.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely Absolution MVP, because, I mean, that was a brutal match. We didn't have a ton of, you know, blood and gore on the night, which I thought was good. I think that being the submitter surrender one, you know, being the one that had it, I felt like it was, you know, it was a perfect place and time for it.
I'm trying to get better with that, you know, and like I've been, you know, like ever since the, you know, the Derek incident with Justice, where, you know, they just are bleeding like crazy, and like round one of the Jarrett, you know, in the middle of the pack, and it's just like you got to make it mean more. You got to make it matter.
Yeah, I feel like it really did on Saturday.
Right, I agree with that. You know, and it's just like like I'm trying to get a little bit better with the, you know, just swearing for the sake of swearing, and, you know, the bleeding for the sake of bleeding. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like, you know, and that just comes with, you know, wrestlers got to get that shit out of their system. You know what I mean? It's just like, just like you got to think about it. Like, you know, it's like a different evolution of, you know, like when you're a teenager, you fucking talked and did things differently than when you're an adult, you know, but like, everybody is like still in that, you know, developmental stage, you know, of their wrestling careers. You know what I mean? So like they have so much time still to mature, and a lot of times you just gotta, like, they're just getting that shit out of their systems, you know?
Yeah, that's it's an interesting point in someone's career when they're a blood pervert. But I think most of them in the AIW roster are past it now, right?
Yeah, well, maybe not Dom.
Yeah, save one good one, right? And hey, if Justice keeps coming around here and there, I'm sure he's always down to get some color. That guy's a wild man.
All right, let's get into the questions. I guess.
The question I was going to ask about, Russ was asking about, you know, getting into the ladder match. He was curious about the trusses being used again for another ladder match at some point. He said that looked really sick. I think a lot of people thought, you know, the wire going above the ring was a really cool look all night.
I mean, like I said, you know, like we spent money, you know, like we pushed, like I said, we were pushing the chips in. We're trying to give a proof of concept of what we can do, professional setup, like no corner cutting, you know what I mean? Like when we went out and rented a whole, you know, trussing system, and you know, hung a cable and all that stuff. You know, shout out to Pedro for, you know, making that whole thing work. You want to talk about the real Absolution MVP? It's Pedro that just fucking puts up with everything and like has to figure out how to do these things. And
To me, he's AIW MVP because he does it every show. It's not just Absolution. Yeah. It's every show. I mean, it's know every that, obviously. Show. Yeah.
Right. But, especially for this, going out and, like, he was just like, this was his vision, like of how to do it. And, we went out and we rented it and spent the money. And, I just thought it looked so much more professional than, times we've tried ladder matches in the past. You know what I mean? You got to do it on a budget. And this is why I was saying, I do feel like this show lost money, but I feel like, I hope at least that we're buying equity with the fan base. I think,
yeah.
I hope that people realize, we weren't cutting any corners, like we were trying to, present a very big show feel. And I hope that came across to the fans, and I hope the fans appreciate that and, continue to support and, bring more people like, hey, this is different than what you think independent wrestling is, and like, we're not always going to have that setup,
right?
Obviously, but like, we always have, I think, put on a upper tier, at the very least, independent wrestling experience, one way or the other, but this was just, this was like this was the premium fucking package that we can offer, in a sense.
Yeah.
The premium tier. And I think that, it did look professional. It did look cool. But no, we don't own any of that stuff. The lights, the trussing, any of that stuff. It was all rented. It all drove up, obviously the budget considerably. But, like I said, with Absolution, with August 1st, we're trying to buy this equity with this, with the fans in here, right? Like there's more competition happening in independent wrestling every day. And we want the fucking market share of Northeast Ohio. Like, I don't want it to be a question. Maybe that's the wrong mentality, but I want it. I fucking have dedicated my entire adult life to this fucking business, this company, this area, cultivating independent wrestling when, at a level that nobody else was doing and nobody else has done in this area, since AIW started. So, I think it is within my rights to want that fucking market share of the fans in this area. And we wanted to, show people what we can do, and we spared no expense on Saturday night.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's a perfect example. I don't think we need to do the lights every time. I think there's something about independent wrestling that, if you just tell a good story in the ring, you have some good matches, that's a good show. I don't think you need the glitz and the glamour of those lights and smoke every time. But when you do have a big show like Absolution or Against the World or something like that, when we're really trying to present it on a bigger stage, we can do it and show up and give you a big time promotion and make it not feel like it's some backyard bullshit. We're a real deal.
Right. And that's all it really is. You know what I mean? I just fucking, I don't know. Like I said, this is, what I've worked for. And, I feel like we're fucking due, and I also don't think that we're fucking we are ever trying to pull one over on the fans. You know what I mean? We fucking spend money. We always fucking bring in, talent that nobody else is bringing in. We're always trying to, elevate people and put them in there with experienced wrestlers. And it's a whole fucking process, and there's so much that goes into it. And, we want to be the best at it. And I think we are the best at it in this area. And, we're going to continue to prove that, and that's just what we're trying to do. And I like I said, we're not trying to grift anybody for any money. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm spending it. I'm putting it up, and it's hopefully going to be appreciated, and we're going to see continued support. That's like I said, that's just kind of the mentality that we're in right now. Like, it's like, scared money don't make money mode.
It's very true. Another couple questions. Hercules wants to know, what did you think about all those teeth in the crowd when there was the spot where the Danhausen teeth got unleashed into the crowd? You think there'd be a Danzig show like in a couple months from now, and people are gonna be sitting in the stands like, is that a fucking tooth on the ground?
I don't know who coordinated that or what. You know what I mean? I don't know how that all came to be.
Oh, the big teeth,
awesome.
Yeah, like the cutouts, yeah. I was thinking about when they got spit all over the place.
No, like the big teeth. That's what I think he's talking about.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned, I'm kind of dumb, but yeah, and I want to see all that. I want to see fans bringing signs. I want to see that kind of stuff back. We started to see it. We're starting to see a lot of that stuff, and yeah, I think that's great. I agree with you.
I think it's super cool. I think it added to the big show feel. Yeah, and that's what's great about our fans, and like that's what I feel is like, there's people that have been riding with us for a long time, and like they do things like that, and it just adds to the experience, right? And like it makes everybody else, it creates that FOMO effect, right? Like that's the big kind of thing that we've been having in these meetings is like, some of these shows, there's no FOMO like to come to the Mercury Lounge to see students versus students, you know what I mean? Like that was more on the students to draw their own people. And, a lot of our fans, they sat them out because like there was nothing that they knew that they were going to miss out on. But like our fans that are with us and like, I don't know where those giant teeth cutouts came from, but like that shit like that's like the FOMO effect. Like all those people are like, why don't I have one of those? You know what I mean? Like where do those come from? Like, it created like, such an interactive experience, with the fans for that entrance. I thought it was awesome. Whoever did that, like, do more shit like that. I mean, that was, like you said, signs, stuff like that, like streamers, all that shit. Like, it's fucking cool. It adds to the experience. But like, I'm never going to tell a fan what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, hey fans, like I'd really like you to, make a cut out tooth, you know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say that, but like that was just, that was awesome.
Yeah. Again, Chell Bell, Michelle, one of the great fan photographers, her and Jose always in the front row shooting photos. She was curious more about the Justice and Fonzie reuniting and more like kind of questioning, was this a one-time deal? We've kind of talked about it before. Justice is kind of like the door's kind of always open for him type deal. But, you can't miss nobody if they don't go away, too, So that's kind of what creates those moments. Is
I think we've had such like a great just elevation of new talent, you know what I mean? Since, you kind of got him out of the mix there for a little bit. And, it's like a never say never thing. You never know where he's going to pop up, but there's a possibility that he will, right? Like there's something in the works right now that maybe you'll see him sooner than later, but I can't confirm or deny that right now.
Hell yeah. All right, that's kind of it on questions. Was there anything you wanted to talk about Absolution wise or AIW in general wise that we didn't hit?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. We've been going for about 90 minutes here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, like I said, I was a little disappointed in the the kind of not hitting that number, but the 1,000. But that's just more of like a pride and high standards thing more than anything else. Obviously there's the financial implications and all that stuff, but like mainly like we wanted that for ourselves to keep. We wanted to keep seeing that number go up, right? And now we saw it go down, so now we got to figure out how to put it back up. And it's just the only thing I want to say is like this is a call to action to people that are thinking about skipping AIW, and that maybe you're just going to go to GCW, or maybe you're going to go to Sami Zayn Comedy Hour or whatever. Like you got to support the home team. You know what I mean? Like these people are rolling through town, and that's it, right? Like, but if you want a fucking home franchise to support, you better come out and support us on August 1st. And it's not a threat or anything like that. It's just, you have to support that if you want it to continue on, right? Like we need a good showing. Like I've been pretty transparent about the things that are at play at the temple, and it's just like we got to go out there and we got to fucking show out, and I really feel like it's going to happen for us, but there's no guarantees. There's like you never know how many people are going, maybe I'll just skip that one. You know what I mean? Like if a lot of people say that that's a big fucking failure for us, and we got to this fucking lineup could buy a fucking new car. That's how expensive it is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like, that's a lot of fucking, that's a lot of gambling on my part. Maybe I'm, like I've been saying, maybe I'm the stupidest businessman on the planet. But, we're fucking throwing in on it, and, we're throwing down, and we need everybody to support it. Like, that's just, that's a fact. It's not a bag. It's not any of this other fucking bullshit you read on Twitter from bitter people. It's a fucking fact. This is how it is. This is how you run a business. This is how independent wrestling is. There's no fucking guaranteed tomorrow when it comes to independent wrestling. I've been able to figure it out since 2005, but that doesn't mean that, a day's not going to come where I can't figure it out, or there's a gigantic failure. It's reality. It's, I always live like there's going to be no tomorrow. That's why we are always so kind of transparent and proactive on this podcast about, where things are. And that's where we're at for August 1st. We need everybody out there. Tickets are $15 to get you in the door. I think everybody can figure out a way to get $15 and get in that door on August 1st.
Definitely not going to want to miss it. Like we said, we can't even elaborate on some of the shit that's going to happen, and just know that take Absolution 17 for example of what we could do when we put on a big show, and just imagine that, because we're going to put on a big one on August 1st. So don't miss out on it. $15, like you said. There are still some premium seating available, second and third row, I believe. If you go to Ticketmaster.com, you can find those seats there. There's a nice big seating map. You can pick exactly where you want to sit. Other than that, we'll see everybody August 1st. What do you think, John?
I hope I see everybody August 1st.
All right, for myself, for AIW.
Oh, yes. Before you go
Sure.
though, Russell Rager is selling pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget.
Don't wait on that either.
It's always a big one. Like we said, we can sell that one basically just on the idea of Russell Rager alone. It's the biggest part of the summer, so definitely don't sleep on those tickets.
Talk about some weird stuff that might happen. What about those text messages I've been getting?
Oh, I can't wait. So happy. So happy.
Russell Rager, maybe. We'll see.
Hell yeah. All right, well, we'll see everybody August 1st. Thursday, August 1st. Let's pack the temple once again. We'll see everybody. For myself, for AIW, for John Thorne. See ya next time. Thanks.